What's going on, guys? Gomes here, back again on another MLB The Show 20 Diamond Dynasty video. Today we're going to go and do an in-depth tip video regarding Showdown for the second inning program. It is very, very good. 70 program stars that you get, which is going to be near a third of the way to your boss player, so I definitely recommend this. It can be very challenging, but with these tips I'm going to give you, it should be a whole lot easier. Before we get into this one, as always, make sure to leave a like down below if you guys do enjoy the videos. Really does help them out a lot, and subscribe if you guys have not yet. Thank y'all so much. We just hit 30,000 subscribers last night, and we're already gaining a ton more, so thank you guys so much. Tons of more tips videos. I'm gonna have gameplay of my boss, whoever I pick tomorrow, so make sure and stay on the lookout for that. Really loving how things are going lately, and with that being said, let's get into it. So the second inning showdown is really a lot like the first inning showdown. There's not a whole lot different about it, but it is actually a bit easier, which I will show you guys in just a second. But first and foremost, just in case you guys think I'm capping or something, there you go, it's completed. And I actually completed it on the first try. I find Showdown is really something that progressively, as you start to play it more often, you get used to it and you know what to expect and you know how to go about it, so it's not as difficult. You know, the first time I did the first inning showdown, it took me a little bit, so it does get easier as time goes on, trust me. But the difference I was talking about is with the first inning, I believe this one you had only 15 outs to come back from in the final showdown, and this time they actually give you 20, which is nice. You know, 5 more outs to work with is literally a entire, you know, going from 15 to 20, that's a fourth more that you're getting, so it's going to be easier in that regard already. First and foremost, before I talk about anything else, Showdown, can you dashboard? You cannot. Dashboarding will automatically pretty much disqualify you if you are in like a mini boss, and if you dashboard, it's just gonna say you lost the game. And also, I saw this on a patch note, a lot of rumblings on Twitter. Users who lose connection in the Showdown front end menu will no longer automatically fail the moment of Showdown. I did multiple tests, probably spanning at least like 30-45 minutes. What that means is if you were to load into a game and if it disconnects, then that is the only thing, that it doesn't like quit out on all of your progress. So there's no gaming the system. I had thought originally, because people were talking about that, but unless I'm missing something, and if I am, please let me know in the comment section, but I do not believe I am. So let's go ahead and get down into brass tacks, starting off with the draft. There are 3 different variations of pitchers you're going to face. You're either going to go up against Bob Feller, you're going to go up against Ken Giles, or you're going to go up against live series David Price. I got Bob Feller. I don't know if it's just by chance. I don't know if he's the majority shareholder that you get most often, but I got Bob Feller, who is, you know, going to be kind of easy to play around with, kind of like Giles as well. It's always good to have the closers, but regardless, there's one lefty on the board, so really I would probably pick Hanley Ramirez, maybe if you want to do Joe Carter, but you know, really if you want to pick Hanley Ramirez for the program, I recommend trying him out on the Showdown, and then you get this round the same as well. I usually pick, I did pick Wade Boggs because I find really high contact guys are actually pretty useful, because you know, as soon as you get a runner on base, that makes a home run that much more valuable. And once again, what we're really going to want to do is go power heavy, and we're going to want to go offensive heavy throughout the rest of the draft. You know, you can get a couple high contact guys, but for the most part, I do like having power opposed to contact. Right here we are going to get DJ LeMahieu opposed to Lou Gehrig, and yeah, it is just really important. Once again, you only need one starting pitcher and you only need one reliever, so right here we have to pick one anyway. And the reason for that is because you're only ever going to have to use one or the other, because they're all moments, and it'll start you off with your best starter, or if it's a closing situation, it'll have your best reliever in there as well for you. Guys like Jock Jock Peterson are perfect. You know, I can't stress enough, do not focus so much on the defensive metrics of pitchers, more so think about, you know, how good is their power, how good is their offense, because that's going to be much more important to you. And at some point, especially once you do the moments throughout the showdown, positions don't matter that much, because as you'll remember from my first video talking about Showdown, once you get into these mini bosses or the final showdown, there is no reason not to completely load your team with as much offense as possible. So Rowdy Tellez can play catcher, not actually, but he can in this scenario because he doesn't actually have to play catcher. We are strictly hitting. Obviously, make sure and take those guys in and out as you do need, because for the regular moment challenges, some of these are pitching that you are going to probably not want to have Rowdy Tellez in. As you guys can see with the very faint C right there, that's always going to tell you who you're going to face. If it's the Indians, it's Bob Feller. If it's the Dodgers, it's David Price. If it's the Blue Jays, it's Ken Giles. So if you do see the Dodgers playing accordingly and maybe take more righties opposed to lefties, because once again, they never take out the final showdown pitcher. So it's just going to be you hitting at the advantage all the time from those new players that you get. Talking about perks, I have done a bit more testing to be 100% positive, and the inning ones that have anything to do with, you know, contact boost when you're trailing after the 7th inning or something similar to that nature, is useless. The only thing that's good for is the actual moment challenges, which if you lose, you lose. It's not the end of the world. You don't lose out on the run. You just lose out on the opportunity to get a couple runs closer towards the final showdown. So there is literally no point to pick those. I also strongly do not recommend that you pick anything pitching wise. The ones that you want are the ones just generally when you're losing, you know, like the takeoff, inside report, those kind of insiders report. Those are the ones that you really want to get as far as the quirks and perks go. And what I recommend once again is, I ended up, it was 6-15 when I hopped into the game. Don't play the second mini boss. I think this is right about when you want to stop, unless you really do not feel comfortable for a couple reasons. If you are losing a bunch of moments, if there is some unfortunate stuff happening, or if you just don't feel you're good enough to come back from 6-15, then give it a try, because at this point you're going to make as many stubs as you put in back, probably even a little bit more. So at that point it completely makes sense. But if you have played showdowns before, if you beat the first one, if you've kind of became accustomed to it and you're confident with your skills within the game, once again, this is going to be, I believe, on all-star difficulty. Yes, all-star difficulty, against Bob Feller. You know, really good pitcher, but there is pretty good ways to go about it where he's not that good. You know, it shouldn't be that difficult. So I would stop about here. If you get everything, that's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you only have to score 7 runs, being down 9-15. 6-run deficit, have to win by 1, of course. So that's what I would recommend. I stop usually right about here, because this, if you do lose, if something bad happens, then you know, you don't get to move on. You have to restart everything over again, and the whole objective around this is to get it done fast. Something that you know, I did notice is sometimes they don't show actually the description. When I did it in particular, my second mini boss, it didn't tell me the lead, how much I was down by. So be on the lookout for that. That also should deter you. If you don't know what it is, don't hop into it, in my opinion. I'll show you guys within the game of this final showdown what I'm talking about. Of course, once again, I reiterate, do not go down 0-15. I'm doing this strictly to tell you my game plan and what you guys should be doing as far as the final showdown goes, specifically about Bob Feller, because I think he'll be the toughest out of the bunch. David Price doesn't have great per 9s, and then Ken Giles, specifically him, really make sure watch a ton of pitches, even more so than you would regularly, because he has a much more small stamina pool compared to a Bob Feller, and he's going to get tired quick. So what exactly should your game plan be in this situation? That is the kind of pitch you want to swing at. You know, I wasn't exactly prepared, but those you do want to swing at generally, and you do also have to factor your perks into play. If you don't have any good first first pitch hitter quirks, maybe you don't want to swing at the first pitch. I would only swing at the first pitch if it is like that number 1. Otherwise, if it's like a breaking ball, I never swing at it first pitch, because remember, the biggest key to winning a showdown, especially if it's a large deficit, you can definitely you can, you know, win down 15-0. It's definitely possible. All we're wanting to do is drain Bob Feather's stamina, because once that's drained and once his confidence goes as well, he's going to start throwing a bunch of balls, more than he would already, because he has very low walk per 9, 48 BB9. He is going to throw a bunch of stuff around the strike zone. Be patient. Do not be afraid to go into 0-2 counts. A lot of times you'll probably have a perk that's going to help you out and even make you a better hitter. So it would kind of be a good strategy to go down 0-2. And then, you know, every now and then they might dot you up. Something looks like a ball that ends up being a strike. Don't be that afraid of striking out. For example, if you have the bases loaded and if it's something you don't like, don't be afraid to strike out. I know that might seem like it's ridiculous. Why would you want to get out? If it's something that you're afraid might go below the zone, if it's really close like a curveball, don't swing, because if you hit into a ground ball double play, that is going to hurt you much more than that strikeout ever could. And like I said, you just want to focus in, zero in, get ready, and don't be afraid. At least like... And once again, you just have to zero in, get ready, and try to time everything up. Bob Feather's a bit more difficult because he does throw gas. He throws, that was only a 97 mile per hour, but he has thrown 100 miles per hour, 101 miles per hour to me. He can get it up really fast, but you just have to be ready for him to throw those balls, because they are going to come often. Full count Wade Boggs, work a walk. That's all we want to do. We start deteriorating his stamina. His confidence starts to go, and once we get a couple runners on base, another reason why I recommend power, guys, then if you hit a home run, it's going to be much more worthwhile than it would be if you hit a solo shot, because you're trying to swing and get a hit on everything. Do not be afraid to take a walk. It is in many terms better than trying to swing the bat. I don't know if this is actually an all-star difficulty. There's been many rumors around the community that this does not feel like all-star. If you play something else like March to October or a moment compared to this, it seems a little fishy. I don't know if there's any basis behind that, but there's a lot of stuff. You can even get perfects, good squares. They sometimes are out, so just make sure, wait until they throw your pitch. Work towards them. You have 20 outs, which is in large part pretty good. If you're in my situation, if you're down 15-6, you have plenty of outs to work with. I think I had 5 or 7 outs remaining as I walked the game off, so just be patient. And every now and then you can take a chance. You know, that's my wheelhouse, so it really all depends on how you play personally, but be careful, wait for them to come to you, and stuff like that. You do not have to swing. Don't be afraid going down 2-2. But that's going to do it for this video talking about the second inning showdown. Highly recommend that you guys give this a try. Even if you've been really frustrated with showdowns in the past, it is so worth it. There's nothing that's going to get you this amount of program points this fast like showdown. And there's also good rewards, you know, a good gold player pack at the end if you do beat the showdown. And even if you beat a couple, you don't have to beat the final showdown in order to recoup your stubs and actually, you know, make a good amount of XP, and you're going to get better at this game by playing Showdown, which I cannot stress enough. If you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comment section. If you guys have any tips yourself, please make sure to share the love down below in the comment section. Help everybody out. Everybody eats. But yeah, thank you all for watching this one. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like down below. Thank you all for watching once again. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you, Saudi.